Sully here, the retired tanker yanker. Welcome to Transitions. If this is your first visit to my channel, welcome. And remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber, thanks for your support. I haven't mentioned this in a while, but I do have a Patreon page. And if you're so inclined, become a sponsor. Hey, I can use all the help I can get at this point. Just check the link, it's in the channel description. So just go to my homepage. And any help you can give me, I would appreciate it, because as you know, I am the retired tanker yanker and I'm retired on disability, which means I'm living on Social Security. And retirement does suck. It's what you all have to look forward to, but just my advice, save as much as you can and don't get sick. If you're forced into retirement, as I was, and you wind up getting sick, you can just watch your savings disappear. Social Security just doesn't cut it. So take my advice. Now, fortunately, I have family that helps me as much as they can, but they have bills too. So I am forced to fend for myself as best as I can. Now, I am getting help from my younger sister, Maggie. Buy her books, by the way. Margaret C. Sullivan, author of the Jane Austen Handbook and Jane Austen Cover to Cover. And go to her blog, austinblog.com, and read her fan fiction. She's helping me out in a way that I just cannot thank her enough for. In a week, I should have a new computer. It's not a brand new one. It's refurbished, but it's got more memory, more RAM, better processor, and that should help me make these videos a lot better. Before I start, I have another sports trivia question for you. So test your knowledge. Today's question is, who was the referee who ruled Franco Harris's immaculate reception a completed pass? The answer will be at the end of this video, so be sure to watch to the end and see if you know. Now, I'll give you a hint. He was a former NFL player, and he co-holds a certain offensive record. You can claim bonus points if you get this one. Now, today's topic is professionalism. Just what is a professional driver and what separates him or her from the steering wheel holders? Well, there's a big difference. By strict definition, a professional driver is someone who makes their living driving. But the title professional is an honorific. You can say you're a professional, and your friends and family can say, yeah, Sully is a professional driver. But when your peers call you a professional, then that's the real honor. If you're recognized by your peers as a good driver, then you are doing it right. So just how do you go about getting this recognition? Well, it's your demeanor that makes the others notice to you, and appearance is primary. We do have a saying in the industry, take pride in your ride. So what does that mean? Well, if you drive some beat-up jalopy or your truck is constantly filthy, you're not going to get that respect. Now, I know you can't be going to the Blue Beacon on a weekly basis, but there are things you can do. For instance, when you stop for fuel, you have an opportunity. Clean your windows. And don't just do a half-assed job of it either. Pop your hood, flip up your wipers, and clean the entire windshield. Clean your headlights and all your other lights. Turn them on to make sure that they're working. Clean your side windows and your rearview mirrors. While your hood is up, check all your fluids, belts, and hoses. I mean, you're required to do a pre-trip and a post-trip. Well, do an in-trip inspection too. Check your tires. Take a peek under the truck. It doesn't take long, driver, and you can save yourself a world of hurt later on if you catch something early. Now, the interior of your truck says a lot about you. After all, it's both your home and your office. So keep it organized. Keep it tidy. Okay, you don't have to eat off the floor, but geez, take some pride. You live and work in that thing, sometimes weeks at a time. So keep your gear stowed and secured. I'm not saying you need hospital corners on your bunk, but at least keep it nice. After all, it's where you sleep. Now, I used to hate having trash in the truck, but it's a reality that sometimes it builds up. But another thing I really hated was having anything on the dash. And I made a point to make sure that my dash was clear at all times. But you see guys out there with so much junk on their dashboard, it's a wonder they can see out of the windshield. And that stuff will fly all over the place too. So organize your workspace. Have a trash receptacle and empty it every time you stop for fuel. Now, if you drink soda or coffee, don't allow cups or cans to accumulate in your truck. And if you are one of those drivers who, like me, I prepared most of my own food in the truck, get rid of your garbage promptly. Your personal appearance is also important. It says a lot about you. It said that clothes make the man. Okay, wear clean clothes. If your company provides you with a uniform, wear them. Personal hygiene is also a big deal. Now, we all know that showering daily is pretty much impossible for over-the-road drivers, but try to get a shower whenever you can. I mean, I've known drivers who never showered, and you could smell them before you could see them. And when they showed up, they were wearing filthy clothes. So, shower as often as feasible, and shave and comb your hair. If you need a haircut, there are truck stops that do have barbers in them. But wear clean clothes, and if you're on the road for longer than your clothes will last, truck stops have laundromats. Brush your teeth too. Hey, do I need to tell you these things twice? Jeez, I'm starting to sound like your mom. But how you dress is important. It makes an impression. So if you're neat and clean in your appearance, people have a positive impression. If you look like a slob, you make a negative impression. And you can be dressed in what your opinion is neatly, but others might not think so. For instance, if you wear an article of clothing, such as a t-shirt or a hat, with an inappropriate message, it says something. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I have nothing against free speech. But with that right comes a responsibility. And your truck is one big rolling billboard for your company. So if you jump out of your rig and you look like some complete zero, people will think less not only of you, but of your company. And rest assured, there are people in your company who care about this. Your footwear is also important. You should wear comfortable footwear, of course, but it also needs to protect you. If you show up at a customer wearing sandals or flip-flops, for instance, and the customer doesn't want to see that. It's more of a safety issue rather than a sartorial one, but it speaks volumes. If you wear work boots, it sends a message that you are a professional and you care. If you wear flip-flops, it shows that you would rather be on the beach than doing your job. And you can bet that more than a few customers are going to ask you to don work boots. And you can also bet that your footwear choice will be a topic for discussion in the break room. Now, just about every truck driver wears a hat or a cap of some kind. There's even a style of cap that's called the trucker's hat. Now, your company will issue you a hat, most companies do, when you complete your orientation. So wear it, and wear it with pride. Or wear one of the many freebies that you get during Truck Driver Appreciation Week. That's where I got this one. Represent your favorite team or NASCAR driver. You know, I'll represent my Eagles. I'll represent my Phillies. Represent your country and your flag. The last outfit I worked for, we had a flag patch on the left shoulder. And I wore that shirt and that flag with pride because I'm proud to be an American. The favorite hat when I drove, though, is one that you'll still see in some of my videos, especially my music videos, and that's my CF Martin hat. Yep, I represent Martin guitars, and I did when I was on the road. I do own a Martin. Actually, I've owned 3 in my life, and I'm very proud of this fine Pennsylvania company. And this is just my humble opinion here, but they make the finest acoustic guitars anywhere. So I still wear this hat with pride. But there's room for options. I've seen drivers who, for instance, prefer a cowboy hat. Nothing wrong with that. Or you might want to wear like a tweed cap, a country-style cap, something like that. Of course, I own one. You might have seen it in some of my videos. I wear it often, especially in the winter. And of course, there's also the option of not wearing a hat at all. Perfectly acceptable. But the hat is part of the image, isn't it? Now, another thing that sends a powerful message is your driving. A professional driver is a safe driver. Never sacrifice safety for any reason. Now, your steering wheel holder is the type of guy that drives like a snake is about to bite him in the ass. And he makes reckless decisions. He changes lanes arbitrarily and without signaling. He tailgates, he disrespects four-wheelers, and he uses copious profanity, both personally and on the CB. He's also sure to tell you everything you're doing wrong. Look, I swear. Most of us swear, but for crying in a bucket, control the urge to curse. A professional doesn't have to drop more F-bombs than Eminem. If you can't make a coherent statement without the descriptive adjectives, you need to work on your persona. How you communicate says a lot for you. And never forget that some people are offended by profanity. I myself am hard to offend, but let's face it, there are people out there who are just flat out snowflakes. So respect that and hold your tongue. That'll go a long way. And if you can't do that, don't expect respect in return. Then, of course, there's truck stop etiquette. So when you fuel, that's what you're there to do, fuel. Now, there are other things I stated earlier, like an in-trip inspection, emptying your trash, cleaning your glass, things like that. But you can do that while your tanks are filling. And when you finish, pull forward and leave plenty of room for that guy behind you. Keep in mind that that driver might be pulling a reefer and he might need extra room to fuel his reefer. So give him that room. Pull forward far enough that if the truck behind you is a reefer, he can fill his tank without having to stretch the hose out to its maximum. Another thing about your driving that I used to see a lot is guys that just flat out don't know how to merge. Now, a professional driver does know how to merge. For instance, when you're pulling onto the super slab, you're the one that yields right of way. The truck already on the highway has right of way and does not have to surrender the lane. If there's room, of course, he can, but he's not obliged to move over and give you room. He doesn't have to surrender that lane. Remember that. I can't stress that enough. I mean, if he does, great. But if he can't or doesn't, that's okay too. Remember that if he does move over for you, though, and passes you, flash your lights when it's safe for him to come back into the lane. You should do that for any truck that passes you, by the way. And if you pass someone and they flash you, blink your lights. Blink your, hit your interrupt switch or your four ways. Or just get on the CB and say, "Thank you, driver." Of course, if you see somebody trying to get on, it is common courtesy to move over. But remember that lane changes are accident makers. Be sure that it's safe to move over, and if it is, then do so. But if you can't, I'm sure the driver will understand, at least if he's a professional. The cowboy will curse you out. I mean, there are guys out there, they just have to be the first one. They have to get there as first as they can. Now, I know if you ain't the lead dog, the scenery never changes. But the pro knows the important thing is to get where you're going safely. You don't get extra points for being first. So remember, impression is everything. If you drive like a cowboy, you don't expect respect from either your peers or the public. But if you conduct yourself in a professional manner, your peers will show you your due props, and the public will take notice. Now, for the answer to the trivia question. The referee who ruled the immaculate reception of completion was Adrian Burke. Of course, Franco's catch sent the Steelers to their first Super Bowl, and it was the start of one of the biggest dynasties the NFL has ever seen. Bonus points if you guessed that Adrian Burke was a former quarterback for my beloved Eagles. And the record he is co-holder of is 7 touchdowns in a single game. 7 touchdown passes in a single game. Burke threw for 7 touchdowns against the Washington Redskins on October 17th, 1954. Now, his game stats weren't exactly stellar. He finished the game 19 for 27 for 229 yards. But he said after the game that it seemed that every time he threw the ball, it was 6 points. It was one of those days, Burke was quoted as saying. And by the way, the other quarterbacks who co-hold that record for 7 touchdown passes in a single game are Sid Luckman, George Blanda, Y.A. Tittle, Joe Kapp, Peyton Manning, Nick Foles, and Drew Brees. So, thanks for viewing, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. And drivers, be safe out there and be professional. For transitions, this is Sully, the retired tacker yanker. Safe and happy travels.